The strangest thing about ancient children-esque games is how little they needed to begin. A stick, a stone, a patch of dirt, a tree to hide behind, and somehow that was enough. One child throws a stick. Another tries to throw it farther. One child scratches a line into the ground. Another steps back and jumps over it. Two children run. One hides. One listens. A smaller child watches the older ones, then joins in, as if they understood the rules all along. From far away, it looks ordinary, messy, loud, unimportant, just children playing. But look a little closer, and it starts to feel different. Why does a stick suddenly matter? Why does a line in the dirt become a challenge? Why does copying become part of the game? Ancient children did play, but the strange part is, their games may have looked simple only to us. That is the mistake we often make. We look at ancient children and measure their play by what they did not have. No toy stores, no painted blocks, no plastic animals, no games with instructions. So we imagine their play as empty, as if a child without modern toys must have had a smaller world. But here is the problem. We are looking for ancient toys, as if every toy was made to survive in the ground. A modern toy is easy to recognize, but an ancient toy may not have looked like a toy at all. It may have looked like a smooth stone, a broken bone, a shell, a piece of wood, or a tiny version of something adults used every day. So the question is not only did ancient children play, the question is, would we even recognize their play if we found it? Maybe the first wrong idea is not that ancient children had no toys. The first wrong idea is thinking that play needs toys at all. A stick was not made to be a toy. Neither was a stone, neither was mud, or a shell, or a dry leaf, or a line scratched into the ground. But children have always had a strange power. They can take something ordinary and make it mean something else. A stick is just a stick until one child holds it like a spear. A stone is just a stone until someone decides. This one matters. A patch of dirt is just ground until a child draws a shape in it. Then another child changes the shape. Then suddenly there is a rule, there is a challenge, there is a game. And this is why ancient play is hard to see clearly. The things children played with often looked like the world itself. A branch from the ground, a stone from the river, a small bone, a pile of mud. Things adults might walk past without noticing, but in a child's hand, they could become something else. The strangest ancient toys, maybe the ones archaeologists cannot confidently call toys at all. Not because children were not playing, but because their toys were never made to look like toys to us. A toy that looks like a tool can disappear twice, first from the ground, then from our imagination. Now return to the child with the stick. The child throws it, misses, runs to pick it up, throws again, a little harder, a little straighter, a little better. Everyone laughs, no one calls it practice. That may be exactly why it worked. It is just a game. But the arm remembers, the eyes remember, the body remembers. Another child runs around a tree. A second child follows. The first child turns suddenly. The second child almost falls. Then both of them laugh and keep running. From the outside, it is just chasing. But the feet are learning balance. The legs are learning speed. The body is learning how to stop, turn, avoid, and keep moving. A child jumps over a line in the dirt. Too short, try again. Too far, try again. Another child copies, then another. Soon, a mark on the ground has become a test of the body. How far can I jump? How fast can I run? How hard can I throw? How quietly can I move? A game could begin with laughter. But underneath the laughter, a child was learning what their body could do. But the body was only one part of the game. Ancient play also trained something quieter. The eyes, the memory, the attention, the ability to notice small things that modern people might walk past. A child sees marks in soft ground. At first, they are just footprints. Then one child follows them. Another child guesses where they go. A third child makes new marks, trying to trick the others. Suddenly, the ground is not just ground anymore. It becomes a puzzle, a trail, a little mystery, and no one has to explain why it is interesting. The game explains itself. The game began as footprints, but it ended as attention. Anthropologists studying hunter-gatherer children today have seen a similar pattern. Children often learn by watching, copying, practicing, and turning what they see into play. Not because someone stops the world and announces a lesson, but because the world is already there, moving, changing, leaving marks, offering clues, and in archaeology. The traces of children are often indirect. A small footprint, a handprint, a miniature object, a clumsy mark, a beginner-esque mistake. Not a treasure, not a weapon, not a perfect tool. Just a tiny sign that a child was there, touching the same world adults were using. And children were not only watching the ground, they were watching people. Older children, adults shaping tools, someone gathering food, someone moving quietly through the grass. A child sees it once, then later, inside a game, they copy it. Not perfectly, not seriously, sometimes badly, sometimes in a way that makes everyone laugh. One child pretends to be the hunter. Another pretends to run away. One child acts like they know where the food is. Another follows, even if the path leads nowhere. One child carries a bundle of leaves, like it is something important. Another gives orders, as if they are older than everyone else from far away. It looks like pretending. But pretending is strange, because pretending lets a child step into a role before the role is real. Pretending was not escaping the adult world. It was touching it safely. For a few moments, a small child can act like an older child. An older child can act like an adult. A game can turn into a tiny version of the world around them. Ancient children were not only playing with sticks and stones, they were playing with actions, with roles, with rules, with the life they saw every day. Today, children often play inside worlds, made especially for children. A playroom, a playground, a toy kitchen, a toy car, a toy animal, a game with buttons, levels, points, and rules already built in. There is nothing wrong with that. Modern play can be creative, safe, beautiful, full of imagination, but it is different. Many modern toys are small copies of things outside the child's real life. Ancient children had fewer objects made for play, but maybe they had more chances to find games hidden inside ordinary life. The ground beneath them, the trees around them, the movements they copied, the older children they followed, the adults they watched. From the edge of the group, modern children often play in worlds made for children. Ancient children played with the world they were already inside. Maybe modern children have more toys, but ancient children may have had more games hidden inside the world itself. So return one last time to the child with the stick. At the beginning, it looked small, almost empty, like a childhood with less color, less comfort, less imagination. But maybe that was never the right way to see it. Now, we do not see almost nothing. We see a game, a body trying, a mind noticing, a child copying the world, one small movement at a time. Ancient children did play, they laughed. They ran, they hid, they copied, they made rules, then broke them, then made new ones. But their games were not sealed away from the world outside. Their games grew from that world, from the ground, from the trees, from the people around them, from the movements they saw, and the life waiting ahead. Maybe ancient children were not playing less than us. Maybe their play was doing more. And maybe the simplest game was never simple at all.